everybody, welcome to the tea table. Today we're going to take a look at a deck from Brilliant Stars. Now I know it comes out about a month from this video, but everyone's pretty hyped about the new set, and I'm pretty hyped to look at this deck. So we're going to take a look and see what's going down. So this deck is Arceus Umbreon Box is what we're going to call it. As you can see by the picture, it's got a lot of moving parts, but when it gets going, it's pretty much a guaranteed win. So let's dive on in and take a look at what we got inside. So we got Arceus V and Arceus VSTAR. So Arceus V for 2 colors, search for 3 basic energy, attached to your Pokemon V. That's pretty insane if you ask me. It reminds us of past cards like ADP, which I know everyone loved that card. So then we got the evolution Arceus VSTAR, which is new mechanic in Brilliant Stars. For VSTAR Pokemon, it looks like they're going to have a pretty good amount of HP, but slightly less than VMAXs, so they gave him 2 prizes. So the V-Star does 200 for 3, and the same as the basic, you search your deck for 3 basic energy tapped into your Vs. Now, V-Stars do have V-Star power, whether it be an ability, an attack, or who knows what they're going to make it. We can use 1 V-Star power a game across the board. So Arceus is search for 2 cards. So you just search for 2 cards once a game and probably get what you need to win, or get what you need to stabilize if you had a slow start. So let's see what Arceus can attach to with its attacks. First, we got the Umbreon line. You got Umbreon V, first attack can't retreat. Second attack is 80 plus 80 if Umbreon has any damage counters on it, which if you've played the single strike deck, you know that can be a pretty effective attack. But in this one, we're really not going to try to use it because we don't have any way to effectively put damage on our Umbreon. So then it evolves into Umbreon VMAX. And when you play Umbreon VMAX, you get to bring up any of your opponent's Pokemon. Just a boss's order. And that's pretty good. You know, that's the history of Pokemon. If you get a boss's order ability on a Pokemon, it's pretty good. So that's 160 for 3. And the best part of the card is it's dark, so it gives you a chance to one-shot cards like Mew VMAX and Shadow Rider VMAX. So then we go to the support attackers, Zacian V and Galarian Zapdos V. So Zacian V has an ability, Intrepid Sword. If you use this ability, your turn is over, but you look at the top 3 cards. You can attach any metal energy you find to Zacian, and if you don't, you just put them in your hand. So the worse you're drawing 3, the best maybe you're attaching 3. And if you can do that turn 1 and get like 2 energy energization, it puts so much pressure on your opponent. And then we got Galarian Zapdos V, a card that I think is going to see more play when the next set comes out because of Arceus, as Arceus is weak to it. So its ability is this attack costs 1 less colors for each opponent's Pokemon V in play. Now remember, V, VMAXs, V-Star, they're all Vs. So it doesn't matter what comes after the V, they all count as Vs. So its attack for 1 to 4 energy, depending what they got. So 170, and then before doing damage, you discard a special energy on it. But 170 does knock out Arceus V in one hit, and it can also knock out like Gengar VMAX in one hit. So it's a card that I think is going to see more play the more we move on into the next format and the set after that, etc., etc. Then we got the support search Pokemon. We got Crobat V, staple everybody loves when you play it, draw until you have 6. And then we got Lumineon V from Brilliant Stars, which is when you play it, you search for a supporter. So if you just don't want to worry about doing your Crobat to try and draw into something to do stuff, you just do stuff. Search for that research, Marty, Raihan Boss, whatever you got to do. So let's move to those cards. So the supporters are 4 research, 2 Marty, 2 Boss's Order, and 2 Raihan. Pretty standard supporters there. Raihan's pretty great because you could just get the basic energy back and search for whatever energy you need to attack that turn, perhaps, to get going even if your opponent got a crazy knockout on you. So then we got the ways to get Pokemon. We got 4 Quick Ball, 2 Ultra Ball, which is a reprint in Brilliant Stars, and a Great Ball. It was super interesting they went Great Ball over like another Ultra Ball or an Evolution instance. I haven't played the list yet, so I'm not sure what's going on with the Great Ball, but I'm definitely going to try that out at first and see if it works for me, and you should try it out and see if it works for you. So we got the rest of the trainers, which are 3 Switch, 2 Cape of Toughness, which is also an interesting choice. So it looks like they went on keeping Zacian and Zapdos alive longer than going with the big charm for Umbreon and Arceus. So I can see that being a good thing if your opponent's, if the meta is like full of Jolteon maybe, or Rapid Strike Urshifu. So that's another card I might make a big charm, but Cave of Toughness is definitely what you want to start out with. And then we got Choice Spell from Brilliant Stars. You do 30 more to your opponent's Vs, and that's pretty good. I mean, with the format right now is basically all Vs, so you're going to want to play Choice Spell if you can in your deck, which leads to the next card, Tool Scrapper, probably becoming, I think, a one-of staple. Now that we have a tool that, like, every deck's going to play. Like, before we have Air Balloon, you know, Cape of Toughness. Sometimes people don't even play tools. So I think Tool Scrapper is going to become more prominent in decks as a one of, especially because if you need a Tool Scrapper for game and you're playing Arceus, guess what? You can just search for it. Easy. And then we got 3 trading cords to round out the trainers to get back your basic energy. And the energy in the deck are 8 metal. The most metals because you have Zacian, who takes 3 metal to attack, and along with his ability that I said, you got 1 fighting and 1 dark. Now, the reason there's only 1 of those when you have 3 Umbreons in your deck and all of that is because you have Aurora energy, which is when you touch 2 Pokemon, you have to discard a card, but it provides any energy. So it could, instead of going like, oh, maybe 2 dark, 3 fighting, or whatever, they went with the 3 Aurora to kind of guarantee that will be there to be able to attack in a late game situation or whatever it might be. And then we finally got double turbo energy, which is from the Brilliant Stars expansion. It provides 2 colorless, but you do 20 less damage. Most of the time, it's not going to matter, except for like Umbreon VMAX. If you put it on there, you're going to need a choice belt to one-hand knock out the Mew and Shadow Rider, like I said. But other than that, you can get turn 1 Arceus via attacking. And imagine that you go second, your opponent does whatever. Attach. I'll put 3 energy on my Zacian V. Well, now it's doing 230 next turn. Your opponent's like, well, I got to take that out. Then you might be attacking with Arceus VSTAR for 180. So it's kind of a back and forth. It puts your opponent in tough situation to figure out what they got to deal with more. Meanwhile, you're over here ready to set up and, win the game. So with that being said, this is Arceus Umbreon box from our next set, the Brilliant Stars expansion. Let me know what you thought of this new format of doing a deck profile for cards that aren't out yet, where the cards pop up on the screen and everything. I'd like some feedback, as obviously this is the first time I've ever tried this. Comment below that. Comment if you changed anything in this list, like the Great Ball or the Cape of Toughness. But don't forget to give those a shot first before you take them out of your deck, because you always got to trust the deck builder on their lines of cards before you just dismiss them. And if you like the video so much, you drop a like. Maybe subscribe if your heart feels like it. And I will see you guys next time.